Alright guys, I've just got a little something fun to show you today. It's the game of life, but with a few additional rules, as well as like a few fancy things that I've done, such as create like options and such, which I'll show you in a minute. So, after I'm done showing you, I may consider creating a tutorial if enough people are interested in it. The tutorial would of course cover basic window creation on Windows, some custom math stuff, such as vectors, and really, I mean, there's just a lot of interesting things. But of course, I would go over every single aspect, starting from the bottom, which looked something like this, actually. And if I just type a.out, it'll give a quick little thing here. So this is what I started out with. It was actually a project assigned by my computer science class. So if I choose about, I don't know, 20 rows, let's just go with 40 columns, a starting density of about 0.35, and a boundary. So if we look at this, this is the game of life, except it's on the console. So it's really just basic stuff, and I'll include links in the description that explain exactly what the game of life is and how it works. So I just figured I'd let you know that this is what I started out with. So it's basically just a case of we started at the bottom, now we're here. And I don't want beginners to get discouraged by all of the stuff that I've done here. Because really it can be as simple, such as like a console window, or as complex as you want. Alright, so now that we're done there, I will launch the program. So you can see that it is both much faster and it's actually on a GUI. So I've added several options. If you look at the GitHub, you'll see the progression there. But I've added several options since the beginning, such as the ability to restart, which basically just reseeds it. You can cycle the modes, which I'll get to in a minute. You can toggle the border, which means that the cells can now wrap around, which means if, say, a glider or a moving piece were to go through the top, it would come out the bottom. And vice versa, of course. In fact, we might be able to... Nope. That's unfortunate because there aren't any examples in this one actually, but I'll show you in a minute. So you can ask it to go slower if you want. In fact, if you look here, you'll see the number of steps per second if borders is enabled, and the mode, and the current generation, which is the number of simulated steps that the program has done. You'll notice the memory usage is actually pretty low for a 64-bit system. But again, that's just really nitpicky stuff. And I recently added the ability to resize the window, as well as these little doohickeys, the actual automata themselves. And you can also, of course, increase the size. And move the window around. And you can pause, resume. In fact, if you watch the memory here, you'll notice that it rose sharply it rises sharply whenever I hit the plus button. That is the result of additional memory being allocated for here. Now I will just like resize this smaller so that it's easier to see. But there are two additional modes of Game of Life that I've implemented. The first of which is called Immigration, which I will now show. And I'll probably increase the speed. There we go. So you'll see that there's two different colors. The rules of immigration are that whenever a new cell is born, it takes the color of the nearest 3 cells. Or, no, it takes the majority color. So, in fact, you might be able to witness this. Nope. So yeah, that's how immigration works. You'll notice that if I speed it up even faster, you'll notice that this went funky, but that's because it's at 0. It's simulating as fast as it possibly can. You'll notice that from where they started, they've moved over. In fact, we can restart it really quick. So you'll notice that green takes over, then gray takes over. And that's how immigration works. There is another mode called Rainbow Life. Now, I made a few tweaks on Rainbow Life. From what I've read, the original Rainbow Life was supposed to only have grayscale colors, like they would start off black, there would be some whites, etc., and then it would take the average of the colors whenever a new cell is born. Well, I just went ahead and seeded the entire thing with random colors on the RGB spectrum, and it takes the average of those colors, which I will now demonstrate. So you notice that as things go, they change color, and you notice these ones that change eventually become homogeneous because it's constantly taking the average, which means that it eventually becomes uniform. And these are still lifes, which is why they aren't homogeneous. Some of them are, though. So that's about all I have to show you. In my tutorials, if there is interest, I will be demonstrating the first example, where we build it in the console, rather than building something as complicated as a GUI. And of course, we'll be focusing on modular, the ability to create, just writing modular code or expandable code, rather. So if you're interested in C or the Game of Life, just let me know, and I will write some tutorials. Oh, here's the example, by the way. If we slow that down really quick, you'll notice that this is going up, but then there's this little dot coming over here. That means it's wrapping around. Yeah, I'm sorry for kind of rambling. I'm actually really, really tired right now. So that should be everything. So I'll of course I'll start with the console version, and then we'll work our way up to creating this version, including the options and everything. Even if there is an interest, I'll probably do it. So thanks for watching.